This week I wanted to do something a little bit different. I wanted to talk to those people who really want more simple eyeshadow looks. I love a good, complicated palette with lots of colors, but sometimes that scares people off, right? It's a little too much. A lot of people really like to have that single one and done swipe kind of eyeshadow, something simplified yet elegant, or just, something that you can run out the door and look just fine, maybe a little refreshed going to, the grocery store. So I have a whole bunch of things that I think work great for that. I've been collecting them for a while. Everything from beautiful, very intense shimmers that look super just dazzling and gorgeous to, just your quick, I'm going to the grocery store, really simple, no fuss, no muss, but I want to look not like I just rolled out of bed kind of, shadows. So I figured this would be helpful for a lot of people since we don't talk about like the single pot shadows a whole lot. Okay, so if this sounds good to you, we're going to get into just a whole bunch of sort of easy to use, beautiful, single use sort of eyeshadows. I do have a couple of little stacks and things in there that are not just one eyeshadow, but they're all going to be really easy to grab and go. All have the option of being just a single swipe. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, I'm going to start with something that's kind of non-conventional. I really like these KVD Dazzle Sticks. Now, sorry, I'm having to grab a whole lot of them. I had to refilm. I am refilming this whole thing because I got the whole thing done. I was so happy. It was so good. And the mic was not plugged in, and so there was no sound. Oh, anyway, so we're going to give this a whole second round. I'm going to try not to lose my regardless. I love these KVD Dazzle Sticks. As you can see from the looks, these are just, you can do them really simple as one swipe. You can pick just one, but they are so beautiful if you just use a couple together. That's kind of my favorite way to use them. But they have this really unique formula where it's very cooling. These are really simple to use. They work with a brush, they work with your finger, they work with just the stick. They're very good about drying down once they are set, right? So I don't find a whole lot of fallout with these. That's one of the nice things about these is that it kind of stays where you put it, yet you still get this very shimmery look. So these are sort of a mid-range, really good option if you want something really shimmery, really dazzling, but you want to be able to just swipe it on and not have it be so super messy. The colors are gorgeous. I'm only missing a couple because I don't think the other ones are a little bit darker, but I think these are all really good colors that are going to work for most people. So I know that this is not a single pot shadow, but they do work like a single pot shadow. They are creamy like a single pot shadow. They're not like your standard like stick eyeshadows, eyeshadow stick. They're much creamier and softer than that, so I really would put them more into the category of, it's like a stick version of the single pot ones. So these are definitely so beautiful, very much worth trying. Okay, so this is the Hourglass one. I only picked up one of these. They are very refined and very beautiful. They don't have as many colors to choose from as some of my other options, but if you are looking for just a one and done that is very neutral but has that little bit of shimmer and it's very refined looking, I think this definitely fits the bill. You're paying a lot of money, and you will see in some of my other options that you can get something pretty similar for not this kind of money. But if you just like Hourglass and you like, having just one nice little shadow, I mean, they do have a few ones that I think will kind of work for everybody. And I mean, it is a really good formula. On that note, I did try some of the Charlotte Tilbury ones in store, and I decided not to get them because even though they were very beautiful, they were already dried out, and they were this very moussey sort of gummy texture. They had dried out to this gummy texture, and they were really hard to use. I specifically want to share only ones that are going to be super easy for you to use, nothing that's too terribly hard. And that's why I'm showing me putting everything on so you can kind of see how it applies and, you know, whether you think you would want to mess with it or not. The Charlotte Tilbury ones, I really liked the colors, but I mean, I don't want to spend that kind of money on something that's just going to dry out and become gummy and difficult to use. All of these other ones I've had, except for the newer ones, I don't know how well they're going to last, but they were fine in store. They all seem to store pretty well. They don't just dry right out. So that's what I think about that. At any rate, the Hourglass ones seem to be holding up just fine, and if you like a luxury one that is super simple, these are very beautiful. Okay. These are from Glossier, and they are one of those things where it's a single color and a single little shadow thing. There are 3, but these are all basically the same color, just different finishes. And if you want a one and done look, especially this taupe one, very, very subtle, very pretty, all the different finishes from matte to satin to like a little more metallic, although it's not very metallic, it's pretty chill. This is going to be really easy for most people to wear. It is nice and neutral colored. I really think this is going to go with all but the warmest and darkest of skin tones. This is really great if you're ultra fair and you are looking for that one and done out the door. I just need to not look dead. This really works, and Glossier is kind of mid-range to a little on the lower end, so really good price. I really liked, and this is why I kind of had my eyes on these for a while, but I finally was like, I have to go pick this up. I love this sort of like rose colored one. Well, it's more like a shimmery mauve. It is just that eyeshadow alone. I mean, you can wear the other ones, and I do, but this eyeshadow is what sold me on it alone, and I use this particular one a lot as basically a single one and done shadow because it is such a pretty color, especially with cool tones, and so impactful, and so just, it has that very kind of sophisticated look, I think. So definitely worth checking out. Now next, let's get into some high end. I have never tried these before, and so it is my 49th birthday, and I decided to splurge a little. I finally got my first Victoria Beckham ones, and these are just so incredibly pretty. They are very high end. They're expensive. I did use some like coupons online. I was able, because it was my first purchase, to get them for a pretty good deal. I mean, it was still like 3 of these ended up being close to $100, so I mean, good deal, right? But if you are looking for something super high-end with beautiful colors, this one called Velvet is like this olive color that I think is going to look good on just about everybody. You know, you're paying for this very heavy, very beautiful sort of tortoiseshell packaging, but also, I mean, it's just a really kind of refined, very nice formula. And that is, if you are darker, this color is going to look so pretty on you. That would be like an all over lid one, whereas for me this is more of a corner or a crease shade, but they all work really well together. The one thing that I would say is I don't know that I would splurge and spend the money on the sort of champagne colored one again, just because, what do they call it? This is called chiffon. I was hoping for sort of a champagne. This is fairly muted. Now, that may be what you're looking for, is just this very like pearl colored, very muted, beautiful, just a hint of shimmer, beautiful color. But for me, this almost just sort of disappears on my eyes. So I don't know, when I was hoping it was going to be like a champagne kind of a, you know, cool like inner corner color, you know, for a little more impact, and not really. So I don't know if I would get that one again, but I do that velvet color. If you're just going to pick one and you like greens, that velvet color is so beautiful. One of the things I do like about these is they're very sophisticated. So you're paying a lot of money, but if you want something that is going to, you know, they're neutral, they're going to look good on most people, and they're going to give you that kind of more sophisticated, more refined look. These definitely fit that bill, and the packaging is gorgeous. Now, these Kulfi ones, these are new to me. These were new at Sephora. I've heard of the brand before, but I think Sephora just started carrying these. These are absolutely gorgeous. These are my new, I have two new favorites. This is one of them. And everybody was kind of asking me what I was wearing in my last video. It is literally just these two shades. And I mean, they are just super, super impactful. This is probably my favorite. They are sort of like, I mean, they're just soft, 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 very wet, moussey, but unbelievably like molten gold. This one is called, I think, Sona. And I mean, if you had to pick one, this one, if you were looking for that, you know, that golden topper that just looks good, you know, for very, very like holiday looks, or you know, if you're just me and you want something super shiny all the time, I absolutely love that. I also got this sort of copper color. I know there's one more color. I'm probably going to go back and get it. I can't remember what it was, but I was trying to limit myself. Like, I've been bad lately. I've been birthday shopping. So at any rate, these are a beautiful formula, sort of mid-range pricing. Absolutely love these. Very moussey, very wet. They do dry down and they don't flake a whole lot. Very, very impactful. I would say that the more bronze color is a little more muted, but not by a ton. The big, really, really shiny one is the Sona. So if you're looking for that kind of finish, this is the one that you want. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Definitely a new favorite. Okay, now if you like those, but you don't want to spend that kind of money, these are very, very close, and these are my second favorite. I got these on Amazon. They're the Afflano Diamond metallic eyeshadows. Super, super similar. I don't want to open at least a couple of these up, even though they're two of my favorites, because I, like an idiot, dropped them and they are so soft that they crumbled all over. I scooped them back up. I totally am still able to use them, but they're a mess. So these, honestly, they give you that molten metal look. Same kind of thing. I mean, look at that. They're almost more than the Kulfi, honestly. No, they're, I mean, a great deal, really gorgeous. I've tried lots of different ones on Amazon. This brand, finally, like, I had a bunch I returned because I was like, this is crap. This is exactly what I was looking for. Very soft, very easy to spread. They are not as moussey as the Kulfi, but they are still a very, very soft, sort of emollient, but metallic, you know, kind of formula. For the price, if you want that kind of impact, I would go with these, honestly. The Kulfi is gorgeous, though. Yes, I would definitely check these out. If you like that kind of look, these are a great deal and they're absolutely gorgeous. If you want to go totally the other direction and you don't want something shimmer, you want something very matte and just, you know, sophisticated, I don't care for the MAC shadow pots, just because I think that Moira does a good enough job with their cream shadows. They are not as pigmented, but I actually like that, and they have this beautiful green color. I really think these are gorgeous, especially for $8. I'm sure that eventually these will dry out, but so do the MAC pots. They are much more buildable and soft. And I really appreciate that sometimes, you know, with these, if they are too pigmented, too wet, they can be a little bit scary. They can end up making a big mess on your eyes. Sometimes it's just easier to work with something like this that's a little bit less pigmented. So for $8, I think this is a really good option, and I find these on Amazon. This is what really got me into it, is the Moira Star Shadow Pots. These are super, super impactful. These are a bit flaky, a bit messy, but they are in a soft cream base. And this is what made me start looking into Moira. Oops, I've still got a mess on there. But you can see they're very, very, you know, just really easy to use, really nice to swipe on, gorgeous colors. And probably one of my favorite ones is, again, this duochrome sort of teal color. I think that is just, all by itself, is so incredibly pretty. I also really, really like their champagne. They have the perfect champagne shade, and I can't find it right now, but you'll see me trying it on. It is one of my favorite inner corner ones, but you have to be careful with it because it is so like impactful that it is not, unless you're just like me where you don't care if you're just like a little crazy looking out in normal situations. It's a lot. It's very shiny, it's very pretty. I mean, I love it. It's not too much for me. So at any rate, these are also like $8 on Amazon, and I totally recommend these. These were sort of my intro into Moira as just the single pot eyeshadows, which I really think they do much better than like their palettes. So I've collected a whole bunch of them. I really, really love them. Okay. Something really similar, which is what I had before I found the Moira ones, is all of the Bodyography ones. They have basically the same kind of like a star shadow pot, but they had them first. And if you want something that is a very shiny, but just a little more refined looking, see how this is a bit of a bigger glitter and this is a little smoother. Bodyography costs a little bit more, but you're also getting a really nice formula. These have not dried out. I've had these for well over a year, I think 2 years maybe, and they're not dried out at all. I mean, you do have to keep the cap on, right? But really, really pretty. Sometimes a little bit easier to wear in everyday life than, say, you know, the Moiras, which can be a little like, whoa. I would definitely recommend checking them out if you like that glitter, but not too much. And they have tons and tons of colors. I clearly have a problem. I ordered so many of these. I have a lot. I have, in general, I mean, I have just like bins and bins of little single pot eyeshadows, because when I find a good like single shade, I really want to stick to it because it's so easy to use and so impactful and so pretty.
Okay, now due to the previous mic accident, when I refilmed, I forgot to go ahead and do this segment. I did, however, do the B-roll of me putting everything on, so we're just gonna talk over it, and I will describe how much I absolutely love these Moira Lucent Cream Shadows. These are some of my absolute favorites. I use them really like most days, not every day obviously because I have lots of other stuff to use, but I love these. Here's just some of the ones that I have. These are the colors I like to use a lot. I love the way that these go on. They can be built up a little bit, not too much, but a little bit, and they're so just like watery and a little bit shimmery, but not glittery at all. These are so pretty. Okay, I'm going to use this one to add a little more depth and color. You could do this with your finger too, but at least for my crease, I really do better using a brush these days because it's a lot more foldy and deep than it used to be. Okay, so this is absolutely beautiful. Again, really, really light. This is perfect for those of us who are very fair, or if you just want something that is just a whisper of something on your eyes, but not like a full-on look. Honestly, these are just, I really cannot say how much I love these. If I had to grab something that was going to be like, oh no, I just have to pick certain ones, these definitely would go in my end of the world kind of purse. Okay, here's another really pretty color, Saturn. They're a little bit duochrome. These ones are about anywhere from $6 to $10. I find them on Amazon. You can also get them on the Moira site. Really, really good deal. Lots of colors to choose from. I obviously showed you I have a bunch of the colors already, but there's even more. So yeah. And I do love that this is kind of like a single swipe one. You can just do this. See how it matches my shirt? This is literally like all you really need. But if you're me, you're gonna build it up. You're gonna add a little more drama. So let's pick a color here. Let's do the purple one. This one does not have a ton of color, but I do like it. It just gives you that, like when you turn your head, you're gonna see a little bit of purple shimmer. it can be built up, but in general, the purple one's not my favorite. I didn't list it on my arm swatches because it's not my absolute favorite. There, you can see there's a little hint of color. This one is one of the very few ones, this very like deep teal. This one's actually sort of almost full strength color. You can still sort of work it into the other one and get it to be sheared out so that it is not so intense, which I really like, but it also can be made intense if you would like it to be. So it's a great little corner shadow. Okay, so a very, very light look is just to put a little bit of eyeliner, a little bit of mascara, and this is like all you need. Honestly, I'm not even wearing eyeliner now that I'm looking at it. Okay, well, that's what's on this side, and I mean, it just shows you how easy and how cheap you can get this really, really elegant, very beautiful look. And finally, here's what I really ended up with. I kind of mixed everything together and built it up. This is a pretty common look for me. I think this is super, super pretty. This is one of the very few ways that I feel like my personal anatomy is able to go without eyeliner. For some reason, these really work without having to create a full line. Really pretty.
Okay, and finally, these are not singles, but I had kind of forgotten about these. My Kaja stacks, these little bento stacks, these are great. These are, the ones I have are a little bit on the warmer side. Let's see if I can get it in there. And they're not as shimmery, but they're still really plenty shimmery. And they have ones that you can use as a single eyeshadow, or, you know, for travel, this is perfect. They do have, you know, you can do a full eye look with everything they have on there. It's a nice pink. And then they have a nice shimmery mauve. This is a really pretty mauve. This is very much like the Glossier mauve, but it all comes in one stack. So I have a couple of these, and they're both really nice. I need to pick up more. There is a really good cool toned one that I don't have, but these all work really, really well for travel, for if you just don't want to think about it too much. All their colors are going to go together. Just a really nice option, and usually Sephora carries them, but you can also find them online, so definitely recommend those. Okay, so that's it. Hopefully this actually recorded voice this time, or else I'm going to go insane. Let me know if you have any questions, or if I missed any of your favorite ones that I should go check out. I think this is a pretty good collection of, you know, all kinds of different options. So, you know, anything from very light to very impactful to expensive to very, very not expensive. So hopefully there's something in here that appeals to you that would work for you. Okay, I am going to go off and enjoy my 49th birthday because that is coming up this weekend, and I hope that you guys are having a great day, and I will see you in the next video.